So this workshop, we're kicking off what we call the Crosslink feature net, which we're excited about. I'll get into it. But the quick, like high level agenda is I'm just going to talk a little bit, and then we're going to do like hands-on tutorials on, what are all the moving pieces? How do you run the node? What does it look like? And then there's also a mobile demo wallet that you can use. So during that section, ideally everyone is trying things out and participating, and you can choose like which thing you want to play with. And then after we've done that for a while, and it seems like most people have worked through their kinks or their configs, then we'll switch to Q&A, like longer form Q&A and discussion. So during the first tutorial hands-on part, if you have more like big picture questions, like about the design or our roadmap or our plans, type those into, I think there's a separate questions channel. And then meanwhile, if you have like issues running the node or whatever, we'll cover that first. And then we'll get to the big questions at the discussion part at the end. Okay, so we're Shielded Labs. We focus on making Zcash unstoppable private money. We have multiple independent initiatives sort of with that same objective. And they're independent, they can stand on their own, but we try to also make them mutually reinforcing. So the more that we make progress on, the better it is for Zcash. And so Crosslink is one of those big initiatives. And Crosslink is a potential consensus upgrade that transitions Zcash to a hybrid proof of work, proof of stake consensus system. And we are excited about it because we believe it improves security and safety for all of the users, decentralization, and engagement. So it improves decentralization and engagement because it enables, it like adds new roles for providing consensus safety, and also those roles are more accessible to a wider number of people than mining is, just because the hardware requirements and the energy requirements are lower. So the main safety feature it introduces is called finality, and that's a strong protection against rollbacks, or what rollbacks might appear to users like your transaction seems to have gone through and then later gets reverted or disappears. That's super annoying, and it can be even harmful or dangerous. And so Crosslink protects against that. But then it also has some like bigger picture things that I'm excited about. So one is that for certain kinds of weaknesses in proof of work or proof of stake, if we have this hybrid system, we may have more protection against that. So if something new comes out, like some sort of new vulnerability or attack, we may have better protection with this hybrid system. And then also it may give us better consensus upgrade agility, because it sort of has these different components. There's the Crosslink thing tying together proof of work and proof of stake. And that might enable us to change details of proof of work or proof of stake, or maybe the glue between them in a more like smooth or less disruptive way to enable Zcash to continue to advance. Okay, so the high-level roadmap where we are with Crosslink, we've been working for over a year in what we've called a prototype phase, where we are doing these workshops, and each one we sort of don't worry about backwards compatibility or anything. We just keep improving the code, and then we have like a demo during the workshop, and there's a network. And those haven't been long-term persistent, those networks. And also we've been building out all of the main functionality. So now we've gotten all of the main functionality in place. It's not like hardened and ready for production yet, but all of the pieces are there. So with this transition to the feature net, what we're going to do is aim to keep it persistent 24/7. We will do what we're calling seasons. So we'll still be resetting the network state each time we do a workshop initially, but then eventually, once it gets mature enough, it will just become a persistent network. And then a really big thing is we're incentivizing participation with mainnet ZEC, like real ZEC. So the way that's going to work is we have like a bucket of, I think, 500 ZEC to distribute over the course of maybe a year. And a lot of that comes from a donation from Vitalik Buterin. So we really appreciate that. And what we're going to do for this first season that we're sort of kicking off with this workshop is distribute 25 ZEC. And I'll explain how. And we're going to learn like each season how that piece is going and sort of iterate on it. So for this first season, what we're going to do is we're going to be running this network. People can participate. It's like a test net, and so you can do whatever you want. But the main things that we're building are finalizing and staking. And at the end of the season, so around the time of the next workshop, we will distribute the 25 ZEC based on how much CTAS, so CTAS is the testnet ZEC, how much you received from mining or staking throughout the season, instead of how much you hold at the end. So that's a little subtle, but let me explain the issuance. So issuance, the way issuance is designed is sort of, it is split up the way we anticipate it would work on mainnet if it activates, if Crosslink activates. So 40% goes to miners, 40% to stakers, and 20% to a dev fund kind of thing, which is just going to be held by Shielded Labs. And then we'll use that CTAS if we need to for whatever reason to help like keep the network running. So anyone who's mining or staking who isn't affiliated with Shielded Labs will basically like gets points each time you get CTAS through that, and then we will distribute all the ZEC based on that. So if you're mining, you'll get some of those ZEC rewards. If you're running a finalizer and getting commission fees, you'll earn some ZEC rewards. Or if you're staking, you'll earn ZEC rewards. But if you get a bunch of CTAS like from a faucet or a friend or whatever, you won't earn rewards for that directly, but hopefully you can use that to participate in the other ways. So that's the idea for the ZEC rewards. And I'm sure we'll talk about that more during the Q&A and discussion section. And then tying it all together, we have a bunch of like improvements since the last workshop also. And also, so I'm going to hand it over to Andrew. He's going to explain more about how each of the pieces work and how to run our node. So that's...
Hello.
You ready?
Yeah.
I hear you.
Start sharing.
Are you ready, or do I need
to... let's get started.
Okay.
I'll share my screen and see, are we running? Okay. Sneak, just like in in many games where you get a sneak preview of all of your skills at first, and then you build back up slowly. I'm going to start with this general overview and see many things happening, lots of lights and colors, and you don't understand it yet, but we're going to break it down and start from the beginning and build up to it. So first I'm going to close this I'm going to delete my cache, and we will resync from scratch. So if I run the build that I've downloaded from the GitHub page, the release link should be available on the chat. We can see in the log we've got a bunch of things happening, and we have a GUI program that was opened. And I realized this is a bit small, so if I press Control+, that should zoom in, and hopefully that will be visible to everyone. So what we're running here is a Zebra node, which is one of the typical nodes for Zcash that we have heavily modified. So we started out making this visualizer just for dev purposes, and kind of slowly grown into becoming an extra wallet, as well as doing all of the extra work for BFT. And so we, as I mentioned, we have this hybrid protocol, Crosslink, with a proof of work component and a proof of stake component. On the visualizer in the center here, we can see we have this blue chain on the left. This is the proof of work chain. And on the right, we have the proof of stake chain. These are the certificates that finalize the blocks on the proof of work chain. And as you might be able to see, they're pointing towards each other, linking in a cross pattern, one might say. And so if we zoom out, we can, which you can do by scrolling or pinch to zoom on Mac, we can see that we're gradually accruing more and more blocks. And this is as we're syncing to the network. We spent quite a lot of effort in the last couple of months redoing the syncing, both for BFT specific syncing and also the proof of work syncing within Zebra. And the block sync has been replaced as we have a bunch of different requirements that we had to handle. So I'll explain a little bit more about the wallet and GUI that we can see as I get synced up to the tip. On the right-hand side here, we have the list of finalizers, who are all of the all of the people involved in the roster who are part of this BFT network that is creating the proof of stake chain here. And as we sync more and more, the numbers, the amount of CTAs associated with each one is going to update, and we will see that the available stake gets balanced out between them. There's a kind of an initial setup phase we had to do that involved my colleague Sam being a very dominant participant in the BFT. But shortly, that'll all change. And then each desktop node is capable of being a finalizer. And we have our own identity here, although I'm not currently in the BFT network. We'll go on to that later. On the left, we have the normal features of a wallet, as well as some Crosslink specific things. So we can receive to our wallet. So if I can copy this address and I can paste it into the chat, and then if anyone already has some CTAs, they can feel free to send me some CTAs, sorry. And then we can see that we've now synced to a point where previously I had actions that had taken place. And so I'd done a little bit of mining, and I had received money from the faucet. And if you would like to receive money from the faucet, you will be able to do so by clicking here on this very convenient button. This will only work once you have fully synced to the tip. And it's not entirely obvious immediately whether or not you are synced. That'll be there's a minor update that needs to come for that. But it's you'll be able to tell on the GUI because blocks will either be coming in batches or one at a time. If they're coming in batches, that means it's still syncing. So as well as being able to see your personal wallet here, we can also have a look at the faucet's wallet, just out of curiosity. So we can see that the faucet is being mined to, the faucet is shielding the transparent notes that it's received from mined Coinbases. So it's making them private currency that it can then send to anyone who requests it from the faucet here. Okay, now we have enough transactions that I can start talking about some of the specific details. You might notice that we have these status blocks here, and that's basically saying, is this transaction, is it just in the mempool? Has it been mined into a block? Or has it been Crosslink finalized? I have the BFT confirmed that it can only that it can't be real. Let's see how we're doing on sync. So you can see we're still getting chunks in at a time, and you might notice that every time we get a batch in, we're syncing kind of up to or just past the BFT, the point that the BFT is finalizing the proof of work chain. And if we have a look on the visualizer, then we can see that some of these are filled circles, and some are just a circle stroke. The filled ones are finalized, and the circle stroke are not yet finalized. If they're in the central line here, that means they're in the best chain, and if they're on the side, that's a side chain. And it's possible that things like this has probably been implicated. We know that there must be a block that exists because this proof of stake block tells us about it, but we haven't actually yet seen this block. Let's see. Okay. So you can see that we have these, maybe I'll see the green line here and the red line here. And that corresponds to what we're calling staking day. Now, in normal or in expected usage, staking day will happen once every 5 days and will last about a day. But for the sake of the workshop, we have them much more frequently, and for the sake of this season too. And the important thing about staking day is that you will only be able to perform staking actions, with one exception, during staking day. This includes staking to finalizers, unstaking to finalizers, and then finally withdrawing unstaked bonds back to your wallet. And so if we have a look in the history of transactions, we can see that in the past I have staked to a few different finalizers. And I can have a look at rather than look at the historical view, I can see a kind of overview of what my current positions are. And I've got a fairly even split between these different finalizers here. I can click on each of them to expand and show the individual positions. And this shows the total value of the staking position. So that is the amount that I initially staked, plus all of the block rewards that I've accrued due to the staking block reward. Let's see. So let me double check. Okay, so we have all of these different finalizers, and if we want to actually create a stake, We can do that through, it's very similar to Ascend. We hit the state button, we paste an identity, and we send a power of 10 value to that finalizer. Now, both the staking day restriction and the power of 10 value restriction are in place to basically minimize distinguishability between different people staking at different times. All of them will be one of a very small set of values, and all of them will take place in basically the same period of time. And so this basically makes it a lot harder to determine anything about your behavior, and so should help increase privacy. If we want to join the finalizer, join the roster. If we want to become a member of the BFT and become a finalizer, we can copy our own identity and paste to that. Now, I'm still syncing, so I won't be able to actually get into the roster as things stand. But once we are, I can show how that works. Now, as I understand, we've been slightly cursed by too much success with regards to syncing. We have all of our difficulty in previous workshops has been set to the minimum difficulty, to minimum possible difficulty, to keep things interesting and have blocks coming in as soon as possible. And this has meant, blocks come in quite quickly, and we've had the situation where if everyone is mining at once, they kind of all mine in their own little sidechain, and then every so often they will sync, and one of them wins, and the rest of them have basically just kind of wasted work, and we haven't made much progress. But as things currently stand, we are doing a little and often sync, and so the sidechains that we do see tend to be very short, and so all hash power is being applied directly on the best chain. Now, as you may know, the Zebra has a reorg limit of 100 blocks, and so it has become unintentionally far too easy for us to get past that because we have this clamped minimum difficulty and everyone mining on the same chain. So we are going to kind of reduce mining at the start of this, then very shortly get out a version with better adjusted difficulty. So if you downloaded a version, say in the last hour, and rather than in the last, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, please could you re-download a new version from the GitHub. This does mean that the primary initial...
I would like to interrupt slightly because I have more up-to-date information. So what we are going to do, because, so to reiterate, the problem we've had in previous workshops is Zebra not being able to sync proof of work quick enough. And so we've ended up with lots of divergent sidechains and people ending up stranded on their own sidechain, where they locally, make 100 blocks or something progress beyond the reorg limit, and they get stuck. And so since then, we have made a new proof of work block sync from scratch that better suits what we need for Crosslink, which is fast and often sync. So we're constantly bubbling these small and gossiping blocks. The result of this has been, however, that as everybody now has come on with their quite sizable MacBooks to this network, is that we're actually all mining in the same direction with difficulty adjustment turned off. And so block production has been far too fast and has caused issues. So what we are going to do is in a couple hours, we will publish new builds with the difficulty adjust turned back on. Or not turned back on. We need to investigate that. But we're going to have difficulty adjust, and then we'll launch new builds. And so in a couple hours' time, we will relaunch the chain that will then stay up for a month with this thing fixed. But you can still download the program right now and play around with it. It's still informative. And there is still a chain happening. We just don't have the BFT active right now. I'll let you continue, Andrew.
Thank you, Sam. Yeah, so as you may or may not be aware, Zebra has a reorg limit of 100 blocks, and so if we end up with multiple people with a divergent view of the network, they can no longer reconcile. But in the meantime, we can show how this will all work. You can still learn all the features, and then yeah, we'll be able to put that to good use when the new build comes out. But yeah, given that we are in a staking period, staking day, let's send some stake to ourselves. So I can copy the identity here, paste it here, and let's send 10 CTAs myself. Now, if anyone has an address, if they could send that in the chat, and I will see if we can send them a bit of CTAs. All right, we can see that the staking is in the mempool. We've successfully built the transaction and uploaded it. And hopefully that should soon enter a block. Oh, Tom was first. Let's use that one. So I can send to you. Let's see. All right, that is also into the mempool. And very shortly, all being well, should get mined into a block. Almost pasted the finalizer address. Yeah, so the final identities are their own thing. They're a kind of they're a public key that is used for the BFT network, and they're how we can determine who has sent a message or who is allowed to send certain types of messages. And if you print this somewhere, you can see that it's basically just a 64-digit long hexadecimal string, i.e. 32 bytes worth of data, which is unlike the slightly fancier Zcash network addresses. All right, let's. So this workshop is going to include some real ZEC payouts. There's 25 ZEC up for grabs total, and the way that this will be allocated is based on how much you have earned through block rewards, both in the form of mining and in the form of getting staking rewards. Sorry, Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, just to clarify, it's the rewards will be based on the entire first season, so that ends in maybe 6 weeks. So it's not. I thought for a moment you said this workshop, like just now today, but it's going to be like a 6-week thing.
I may have misspoken there. Sorry. Yeah, for this season.
Yes. And what is happening right now will not apply. Safe to assume starting tomorrow and then on 6 weeks will be white caps. Just because we have to do this reset for this technical difficulty. Andrew, how does one, this is not fully built yet, obviously, but when I want to later get my ZEC rewards, how will I go about doing so?
Excellent question, Sam. So you, in your desktop wallet, will be able to go to this user menu and hit this copy viewing key button here, and that will produce. Let me find an editor. Apologies. 1 second. Let's make this large enough. A viewing key like this. So this is very similar to your wallet seed, but it only has partial capabilities. It doesn't let someone send transactions from your account, but it lets them see the transactions that you've made and that you've received. So we will use this viewing key to see all of the staking positions and all of the mining Coinbases that you've received. And from that, we will be able to determine how much everyone earned relative to each other and allocate the ZEC accordingly. We will have probably a website with both a ZEC address and the ability to place a ZEC address and a viewing key from the Crosslink network, so that we can wave it up for you.
Oh, I just wanted to also highlight, even though you already said this, but sending the viewing key to us means our script that's doing scanning will see the full history. So you don't have any privacy if you want to claim those ZEC rewards. Just making that super clear.
Okay, so I think we might transition over to Dorian to talk a little bit about the mobile wallet, and then we'll do a little bit of a Q&A after that. So yeah, Dorian, if you're able to share your screen, I'll pass over to you.
Yeah, it's not letting me share. Oh, there you go. Can you see the phone? First of all, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I see the phone
and hear you.
Yay. Okay, so this is the home screen. Initially, you wouldn't have any transactions, so what you should do is press on the faucets button. That will eventually give you 0.5 SEC, 0.5 CETAs. And once you do, well, you can start staking. You can also send some CETAs and receive. You can change servers if you want to, and get the seed phrase if you want to import it in another device. And let's do some staking. My last transaction has 40 confirmations, so hopefully it won't get reorged. Let's see. I'm still on staking day, so I'll just go to stake. I select, let's see, this one that seems to have very low, a low amount of CTAS. Press. I'll just stake one, and because we are on staking day, it should execute immediately. I'll do confirm. It says it's done. Should be here in staking positions, and here's the real transaction. Once we see it on like more than 3 confirmations, it should start accumulating rewards. Yeah. So, and well, I'll talk about this anyway. You can also, whether you're in a staking period or not, you can point that staking action, that staking position to another finalizer if you want to, or unstake. If you do unstake, you will also have to wait for another cycle to then withdraw it. And as we can see, I'm already accumulating rewards. You can see also the finalizers I have staked to. And if you want an overview of the network, you can go here and see the distribution. Let's see the amount of confirmations. Yeah, we got the minimum. And let's try and do staking to a different finalizer. This time I will go with B9, and I'll just take a lower amount. Okay, done. Should be here. Yep, we can see it's in mempool, block 929, and we are at block 928. So it should pretty soon. Yeah, there we go. So if we go there to active stakes, we can see the 2 positions. This is the finalizer to which I have staked to. And here's a finalizer list updated. And well, it may. So if I hadn't, if I wasn't in the staking period, I would see this in yellowish, and I would still be able to enter the staking flow, but it wouldn't execute automatically. It would just schedule for when the next window opens. This means that you can close the app, go do something else, and it should send you a notification once the next window opens. Now, once that happens, it will appear here, and you'll have to manually execute each one of those. This is due to a limitation of how iOS and Android handle background tasks, so that it needs to be like on the screen. The app needs to be on the foreground. But yeah, let's do how much has passed since this in 26. Only 8 blocks, so I doubt I'll be able to. Well, let's try anyway. Let's redelegate from B9 to 4.5. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, I have redelegated to 4.5. You can see it here. This is actually the source of truth. So once this gets at least one confirmation, yeah, there we go. We now should see it a different finalizer. It's no longer B9, it's 45. So that's for now the flow that I can show you. Once we reach the once the current staking window ends, I can show you the what is it, the scheduling flow if you want, or you can try it yourselves. Yeah. Oh, and this you can also see you can go into the list of your finalizers that you've set to, and see all the staking positions there if you want to, a more filtered view. And yeah, it shows you the total amount that finalizer has and how much you have staked to it. See, 6 minutes until the next staking window, until it closes. Should we try sending for some reason? I already have I have one address. This one. Send just 0.001. No, 0.07. This is the sending flow, if you are curious.
Feel free to, if you have other specific things you want to show, feel free to. But if we're waiting for staking day, maybe we should start Q&A while we wait, and then we can jump back to the mobile demo.
Should I stop sharing?
I think you can leave it up. I think that's fine.
Okay.
I haven't been looking at the deeper Q&A channel, but I've been watching the Signal Crosslink updates, and it feels like people are still having a lot of different kinds of issues that we might want to sort through, or maybe, or we could start the Q&A. I'm not sure.
How about we start the general Q&A, and then I can pay attention to these Signal issues people are having.
Yeah, okay. Thanks. Okay, so now I'm trying to find the place where those questions are.
Okay, so Michael 2XL says that he delegated to himself, and it seems to have worked. Is this allowed? It is very much allowed, but if you are not running on the desktop, then you won't actually be able to behave as a finalizer. So you'll be kind of a missing node on the network. And this is fine as long as we remain with 2F plus 1 stake on running well-behaved nodes.
Yeah, I can explain a little bit more about the design choice there. So some stake networks distinguish between stake that validators have put up for themselves versus delegations from others. That doesn't work for us because there's strong privacy of the staking. So you can't tell where stake comes from. So there's no way to prevent a finalizer from delegating to themselves. And so we decided it would just be a simplification to say there's only one thing you can do, which is staking. It comes out of the Orchard pool. It's part of the Orchard pool in a way, and it just gets assigned to a finalizer. So if you're running a finalizer, you can stake to yourself, and there's no specific flaw about that, although it does sometimes surprise people. Let's see. So I see the stage channel, but is there a different channel for questions?
I think there is the question on the left at the top under suggested. There's a questions channel, I think.
Pasted in the chat there for you, the direct link.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Sven. So we're getting the odd ureg test address, which if you're running on the desktop, maybe I guess that it's from a previous workshop's executable rather than the current one. Could you confirm which version of the program you're running? There's a question on, is the faucet currently unlimited? Kind of, yes. There's some like very basic spam prevention that it won't serve to the same address immediately. You know, it won't queue up multiple sends to the same address, but you know, there's no hard limit. Right, any other questions we've got? Let's see. When is the macOS build getting fixed? All of the desktop builds should be getting fixed pretty shortly.
We expect that tomorrow, right?
Yes, this is the tutorial and intro, and we will be starting tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll announce in the Signal group tomorrow when the new builds are ready. And then we'll follow up to make sure that people are on the right version.
It'll mean that everyone gets an even ability to start at exactly the same time on the start line, with full knowledge of how it all works. So if there's any questions you have about how anything needs to go, then put them in. Make sure you're armed and ready.
So actually, I have a question. Is the plan to re-enable difficulty adjustment?
That is the most
Yes.
likely course of action. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I saw a question, will ASIC or GPU mining be possible? It is
That's an
feasible.
interesting question.
It's feasible, but you know, we have modified the block structure. So we are not actually sure how difficult it would be to get ASIC miners running. But we like the idea of them joining the network. If that happens, that means you know, it won't be possible to really mine much with a laptop anymore. So there's sort of this honeymoon period. That might be, you know, there might be a honeymoon period starting when we fix the difficulty adjustment, where you can mine on your desktops or laptops. So enjoy it while you can.
Who chose the battle songs? Sam, would you like to fill in on that?
Yes, for the previous workshop, we had this idea because we wanted to highlight Staking Day. And so I can't remember where I got them from, but I spent, you know, maybe 4 hours in Audacity compiling together these various different sound effects.
And
many will be from Freesound. So, you know, big thanks to the people who upload the sounds to Freesound.
And the modified voice of a mutual friend of ours doing the presentation, doing the announcements. All right, let's see what other questions have we got. Doesn't that mean that all rewards will go to those that have lots of GPUs and ASICs? If people with GPUs and ASICs successfully can mine, then yes, and that is reflective of how things will be in mainnet. But the great thing about having this proof of stake network as well is when I say all there, that is all of the mining reward. However, there is a 50-50 split between the mining reward and the staking reward. So anyone with basically any amount of CTAS will be able to stake, and so earn a reward from that. You can stake without a mining setup, that's correct.
Yeah, so just to follow up on that, though, there's also the dev fund portion, because if you imagine there was no dev fund, and you imagine only one person with an ASIC miner who gets an ASIC miner working tomorrow, then they would be receiving the lion's share of the mining reward, and then they would be able to stake that, and then they'd be receiving the lion's share of the staking rewards. And the best antidote to that is to have the CTAS widely distributed. So if we see that kind of dynamic happening, we would use the discretionary dev fund bucket to try to counteract that. But if that happens, it's like a real life dynamic that we need to be aware of and understand. So in a way that would be good. In real Zcash, the distribution of Zcash of mainnet ZEC is, I think, really, really good because it's been mining, for a long time. The issuance rate has gone down, and then the price, spiked up. So there was interest earlier on, and also I think we have always had kind of an amount of mind share beyond our market cap, at least with crypto OGs or folks of that nature, and so then whenever the price has been low, and it has been for long periods of time, there's been plenty of opportunity for people to buy. So my belief is that the distribution of mainnet ZEC is really strong, and that is one strength of proof of stake on Zcash compared to most proof of stake networks that sort of bootstrap from an ICO or something where the distribution is not very organic. So it remains to be seen what will happen on this feature net, and we'll learn from it. So stay tuned, stay engaged.
Sorry, just realized I was muted. Apologies for that. Let me jump back in here. Yeah, and just to reiterate, if anyone didn't catch it, you can obtain some. If you can't mine, then you can obtain some money, some CTAS from the faucet on both the desktop and the mobile wallet, and you can also send your address, put it in the forum, or ask some of the Shielded Labs team, and we'll be able to send some small CTAS to get you started. There was a question. So we're staking our real ZEC on the testnet and receiving real ZEC back. Not exactly, no. So all of the ZEC that you get during this season, we are using the currency CTAS, which is a Crosslink testnet currency. This is, has no direct ZEC value in itself, but there is, as this is an incentivized feature net, there is if you earn a lot of CTAS, there is a Shielded Labs is paying ZEC to those people who have contributed a lot to the test network, and that is based on how much you have earned through mining or through staking reward.
Somebody asked the question. Someone asked the question: do staking rewards get automatically restaked?
Yes. Yeah, it's continually accruing.
Andrew, can you remind me, how do you become a finalizer again in the list on the top right corner?
Yeah, so the one sec. Dorian, am I right to screen share again?
Oh yeah.
Thanks. Right. So the finalizers list shows both our finalized identity and the list of people in the current roster. If you copy your own finalizer identity with this button at the top, this copy identity button here, and then stake to it, or importantly, if you convince other people to stake to it, then you will get put on the potential roster list. And if you are in the active roster, which is currently the top 100 by stake, then you will participate directly in the BFT network and assist with finalizing proof of work blocks.
Okay, so because I am staked, but I didn't see it update, so I wasn't clear on like how that happened. So that's interesting. Thank you. I pasted my finalizer address.
This list will only update when new blocks get finalized, and as there's currently a finalization stall due to the too fast syncing issue, this won't be updating currently.
Oh, okay, got it. And I don't know if you saw my message, but when I downloaded the binary, I had to recreate the TOML file for it to work properly. Like it started and then stopped 5 seconds later, but I recreated it and pasted the new TOML from the binary, and then it worked. Just not sure what's going on there, but that's what happened.
Is this on Linux?
Correct.
Is this you? So you had a TOML file for your default Zebra TOML file path, like .config/zebra/zebra.toml or something?
Precisely, yes.
Okay, yeah, we have some overrides on config stuff, but I guess it must have been a bad interaction with what was there already. So yeah, that might be. Yeah, we should think about that for when we deploy in the future or send people binaries. I guess the mistake on our end is actually we should be modifying the path to the config file such that we don't conflict with any config file from regular Zebra or from a previous workshop, for example.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me.
So I guess just as a kind of point of technical interest, if anyone's interested in some of the sync stuff that we did, this involved setting up a new sync stack that is built directly on IP using UDP packets, and is encrypted over the noise protocol. You don't need to understand the details so much, just that we, unlike a few other things, Quick and IRO, which for all of their positive qualities, they rely on other infrastructure, whereas this now only relies on internet packets being sent to people, and it's also been written in a way such that the NIM guys who are coming up with the new UDP-like format will be able to send directly over NIM for sensitive data. Now we have a feature called hole punching, and basically because people in these workshops are mostly participating from, or a large percentage of them, but participating from a laptop rather than a public server. By default, it's quite difficult to get one laptop to talk to another laptop directly without going through someone else. So we have this. We've added the ability to do what's called NAT hole punching, and that with a little bit of trickery or a little bit of finagling by getting both people to try and repeatedly send to each other, we can create this ability for them to talk to each other. And if we look at the logs here, we can actually see these the peer identities, and we can see that there are more than we currently have servers running. So we are successfully not hole punching through to multiple people. All right. Are there any questions that I've missed in the chats? Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, if you get tired of the the delightful audio effects, then you can in fact hit the mute button. But why would you want that? You want your computer running with these sound effects so that you know it is now staking day and I should go and stake or unstake or withdraw some of my funds. Yeah, I think just to reiterate, if this wasn't clear the first time on the desktop, the basic flow is I get an identity of a finalizer that I want to stake to. I copy that. I go into the stake. I paste the identity and send CTAS to them. And assuming that ends up in a block, then I will then have a staking position for that finalizer. Then at any point, it doesn't have to be during a staking day, I can edit my stake. I can find that finalizer and I can retarget that to someone else. Say, I believe there being a misbehaving finalizer I can find a new honest finalizer and send to them instead and retarget them to them. Then once I have decided that I no longer want to have this full staking position bonded, then I can again go back to my edit stake pop-up and hit the unstake button. I can only do this in one of the staking days, and then the following staking day after a full epoch, this position will now be available to take out from my withdrawable bonds position. And so this is kind of a separate location. I click withdraw to wallet here, and then that will move to my wallet. Michael asks, why does each finalizer have its own wallet sync? I'm not sure if I understand the question. Could you elaborate a bit on that, please?
In the meantime, somebody asked, do we have to keep the app running to earn mining rewards?
Great question. We do not, no. So once you have staked, then it's just that the value remains staked to that person, which it will until you actively unstake it. So yeah, you can close the app, you can close the program, you can shut your computer off, and it'll still keep on.
That's for staking. For mining, though, I think it needs to be on and connected, right?
Yeah.
For mining, the node has to be actively hunting for blocks.
For mining, yes, you have to be actively running sync to the tip and outcompeting everyone else who is mining. You have to be the first to get that block up on the network.
So yes,
then, of course.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead. If you're finalizing, then you do also need to be on the network, because you need to be talking. Your node needs to talk to the other finalizers to agree on which block should be finalized.
We should add that to the documentation so it's clear. If you're running a finalizer, if you're mining, you need to be online. If you're just staking, it's not necessary.
Okay, just made a note.
Thanks.
Notice there's a copy viewing key in the user option. Do we have plans for that in the future, or what's the idea with that?
Yes, so the viewing key is going to be used at the end of this season for Shielded Labs to determine how much everyone participates in the network, basically. So how much of the mining and staking reward you earned. So it's not needed immediately, but it will be needed towards the end, so that you can request the corresponding SEC reward.
And follow-up question, what about updates? When there's a new version released, do we just replace the binaries and that's it, or do we have to copy seed, save it, and then import it?
So for the version we'll be releasing tomorrow, you're just going to run that, and that will create a new wallet, but that's fine because what you did here didn't count. But yes, I think we will. Yes, if we make future updates after the one tomorrow, it will just be a matter of you download the new executable and you run that instead, and it will just use the same state locally. However, there are some situations where you can get a corrupted state sometimes, and so it would be wise to back up your what the seed for your wallet. And maybe Andrew could demo how that works even for the desktop. There's a file for the desktop wallet called secret.seed that controls that. Basically is what controls what the wallet is in the desktop.
Exactly. So we have the easiest or the most surefire thing to do is to go into the cache directory for Zebra, which is in the app user app data local Zebra, and then there'll be a Zebra Crosslink Season 1 folder. And this secret.seed is something that you should copy and paste to elsewhere. There's the other approach. So you'll be able to do this immediately, and immediately reuse the other wallet, reuse the same wallet, but with a completely refreshed state. Otherwise, if I deleted all of these, I could just replace the seed, and it would resync all of my previous wallet transactions. You can also copy seed and don't do what I'm about to do now, which is to share that with someone. So let's see. So this is my seed for this wallet, and so you can go and save this to file. We don't currently have the ability in the GUI wallet to recover from a text seed, but we will be adding that at some point.
When we have an update that requires people to go through that process, I think we should just create like a video explainer that they can use to walk through the process, so there's nobody loses anything.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe document the default locations of each operating system where they will be found. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, if you let me see. If you go to the command line, and if you run your zebra.d.exe, if you run that with generate, it will present a config. You don't actually need this config, but the important thing is that it has a bunch of the caching information. So it has this comment at the top, and it tells you for each platform where is the standard location. But yes, we will provide more detail as and when that becomes required.
Sam, let's dig in a little bit to the update that's happening tomorrow. So if you're running the desktop app, you're going to have to like re-download, rerun it, and
Yes.
essentially start over. But one sec, what's the implication for people who are only using the mobile wallet and stake today? Their stake is not eligible for rewards, and
yes, but if they do so after so we're going to restart the chain, and Dorian can tell us what will happen there when we do a chain restart. But my presumption would be that presumably mobile wallets people either have to reset manually in their app, or it happens automatically, and then just whatever they do after the chain restart is what counts. Dorian, do you want to clarify?
I think that they'll just update automatically. Just in case, write down the seed phrase, so it's easy to keep track of it.
and we'll walk everybody through this tomorrow in the Signal group.
I kind of think this is a good thing because everyone's trying it out for the first time and it's a little rusty. But the second round should be more smooth because we know what to expect. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
Agreed.
Definitely, yeah. So everyone's had a bit of a chance to play around with it and hopefully get familiar with some of the features, and then they can start in anger when we get it all started tomorrow.
Anything else we want to cover, or should we start to wrap it up here?
I'm just trying to check all the different channels for questions. I think that is all from me, unless anyone else has any other particular things to add.
Okay, let's end it here. Thanks everyone for joining. We'll follow up in the Signal group tomorrow once the new builds are available. We apologize for the technical difficulties, but it's sort of part of the process when testing early stage software. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you everybody for coming.
Thank you all.
Great
Thanks, very valuable testing.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
See you on the feature net.